Welcome to the show, everybody. It's called the Business to Business Network Show. My name is Rex Perry. I've been doing this business show since '99. It's an hour-long show. We have different guests talking business, politics, and economics. We try to inform the public, especially this is a midterm election year. We want to have candidates coming on to talk about potential ideas and changes. And our guest now is Victor. Victor, give us your last name. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Victor Weintraub. I'm running for Congress in Arizona's 1st Congressional District.
And what geographic area is District 1?
It's a big district. It's 810,000 people. It's primarily Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, goes up to Cave Creek and out to Fountain Hills.
Excellent.
And also includes the northeast section of Phoenix. It's a big district.
And you've got an interesting background. Tell us a little bit about your educational background, where you come from. Introduce yourself.
Well, sure. My educational background is pretty good. I've got an MBA from Columbia Graduate School of Business, which is the same place where, what's his name, Warren Buffett went.
Yes, of course.
Few years ahead of me. And before that, I have a bachelor's degree in structural engineering from New York University. So I'm fairly well educated. I studied economics in Columbia, in addition to finance and management and the rest of the business curriculum. And I'm fairly versed as an economist, and I can tell you exactly what's going on in the world right now.
Excellent. Now, tell us some of the platforms or ideas that you would like to promote if you're elected.
Well, not if I'm elected.
Yeah,
when I'm elected.
Okay.
My number one item is to try and get universal health care. That is to get the insurance companies out of the healthcare business. They are costing us a lot of overhead, and they are trying to make medical decisions that they're not qualified for, and they're creating a lot of problems for people. I think if we get rid of them and eliminate the insurance overhead, we will wind up with the same cost, but we'll have much better coverage for the general population. So that's my number one item that I'd like to see.
And let's talk about economics just for a second. So if a very large organization is able to buy pharmaceuticals in bulk, then that helps bring down the cost. Do you see where I'm going with that when it comes to pharmaceuticals and using Medicare as a form to get the price down?
Yeah, I can see where you're heading.
Yes, tell us what you think.
I think that you're jumping ahead because inflation is the most important item in inflation is the ownership of government debt by the Federal Reserve System. And we have a proposed new chairman for the Federal Reserve who was ran the Federal Reserve a few years ago. And he has voiced that as his primary objective, as a method of reducing inflation. The question really comes down to is, can he accomplish it? Because Powell, who is the present head of the Federal Reserve, has been trying to do that and unsuccessful for the last 5 years, trying to reduce the amount of federal debt owned by the Federal Reserve System. People don't realize it, but when the Federal Reserve System buys federal debt from the government, it's effectively printing money. And that is a tremendous amount of cost in inflation that everybody is complaining about.
And let me try to get into nitty-gritty of this because I have a little bit of background too. So the government offers IOUs in the form of treasury bills. And the Federal Reserve has been purchasing these treasury bills.
Yes, they have an enormous amount of treasury bills. And we've had an enormous amount of inflation. I say enormous, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Built into the system is 2% of inflation annually. And inflation has really been running in the 4 to 5% range, and that's been causing a lot of problems. The change in prices is very uneven, and it sometimes affects the public in the supermarket, and that creates an outcry. And it's not that easy to remedy.
Let's bring us back to the medical. Let's just talk healthcare just for a second and stay focused on that. What are the efficiencies that you gain by having a universal health care? What are the efficiencies?
Well, if we can get universal health care, it effectively changes health care to everybody's covered for all ailments, and there's no insurance company decision as to whether something is covered. It's medically covered or not medically covered. And so that takes a lot of the problems out of our current system. I think that we're the just about only major country that has insurance companies in their healthcare system.
And how do we pay for this, though?
Well, you pay right now. Employers are paying premiums to insurance companies. Instead of doing that, employers would pay a healthcare tax for their employees
which is a premium, just like they're paying premiums now, right?
Exactly. They're paying the same money, but instead of paying it to insurance companies, they're going to be paying it to something like Medicare.
Yes. And by pitching that in, you create a huge pool so you can diversify the risk of those individuals that are really, really sick and need help versus the ones that are quite healthy, right?
Basically, that's what happens. You're taking the insurance companies' overhead and profit out of the system, which it contributes nothing to healthcare. And the total cost, I don't think, is going to change materially, but I think we're going to get substantially better coverage for the public, and that is the problem that the public is running up against
now.
And
let me do a little bit of history here. I'm a little bit of a historian. Back after World War II, Harry Truman tried to get a universal health care for the country, but all of the large corporations like General Motors, just for example, were trying to figure out a way to retain their employees. And so they offered health insurance on these large corporations, and that handcuffed their employees because they wanted the health care and they had to stay with the big corporation to do that. And so therefore now we have 50 state regulations. Each health insurance company is regulated on the state instead of on the federal level. So when you have insurance here in Arizona and you go on vacation to New York and you get injured, you may not be able to use your health insurance in New York. Do you see the challenge there?
Yes, that's
a mess.
Very true. It actually goes back earlier than Harry Truman. It goes back to the Second World War, where the only way that companies had to compete to get employees was to promise them health care.
Yeah.
And so they did, and that's how the insurance companies got into the healthcare business, where they should never have been in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm a small business owner. If I have employees, it's expensive. Wouldn't it be nice? It's still going to cost money, but to have some sort of take that off my list of what I have to do as a small business owner is to have now insurance for my employees. You see the positive there, too.
Yes, that is a positive, but I don't think the cost is substantially going to change for the small business owner.
They're still going to have to pay.
Right, they're still going to have to pay, but what is going to change, I think, is the amount of coverage for the individual employees. And the problem now is people with a chronic disease have difficulties with the insurance companies, whereas if we have a universal health care system, they won't have that problem.
And another point, too, is that a lot of times the insurance companies are paying a ton of money for the commissions. They've got corporate overhead. They've got all the different regulations from the 50 states. You've got pharmaceuticals that are running very expensive television advertising. So that money, we end up paying for it because of a high cost of health care, right?
Absolutely correct. We're paying for it, and we're not getting the value. The insurance companies are getting the value. instead of health coverage. And that's what I'm trying to change by suggesting that we go to a universal health care system.
And one more thing. I was in England on a mission for the Mormon Church back when I was very, very young. And they had universal health care there in England. And a lot of people say, well, to keep our pharmaceuticals on the top, you need all this money for this R&D, this research. And yet, a lot of the pharmaceuticals are coming out of Germany, and the pharmaceuticals are coming out of England and Europe, and they're not part of our system here. I think there's a little bit of a bait and switch going on there with the pharmaceuticals.
I don't know about that. I think a lot of the basic research is done here.
And they start with the universities, but the universities, they don't get any money. They do the foundational work, and then the patent gets purchased by, some large pharmaceutical company.
That is true.
It's a challenge.
A lot of the research is with universities.
Yeah.
And
they don't benefit.
Well, they do benefit, but not that much. You'd be surprised.
They need more. Well, listen, we got about 2 minutes left here. Can we get your website? People can go and donate, contribute. How can people reach you?
My website is victorforcongressaz.com.
victorforcongressaz.com. victorforcongressaz.com. And is your contact information there?
Yes, the contact information is there. And there is a button that you can press to either donate. You can press a button to sign my sign my petition, or you can press a button to volunteer. Can use all the help available.
And this is the point. Victor's willing to stand up and make his voice heard. How about you out there, anybody in the listening public willing to volunteer to participate? This is a crucial year, 250 years since the revolution. And folks, we are in a revolution now. I'm going to have as guests on the show next week, 2 weeks from now, No Kings Rally people. I mean, we are in a challenging political situation right now, and we need people willing to step up and participate. So, Victor, we say thank you. Thank you for getting, like Teddy Roosevelt, you're willing to get in the boxing ring.
Thank you.
And we'll do our best to try to help you out.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Rex.
All right, everybody, we got music that's coming. We've got a break that we have to do. This is called the Business to Business Network Show. My name is Rex Perry. Our website is 123bz.com. If you hear something, if you want to get in contact with Victor, you go to our website. My cell phone number, my email's there. We would love to hear from you, and we'd love to connect you with Victor. Everybody, stay tuned. We'll be right back.